Media, bitch.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, persons of all ages, welcome to the most exclusive group in the wrestling community. And now, your hosts, first, from Omaha, Puerto Rico, Macho Rodriguez, and his tag team partner from Moncton, New Brunswick, Canada, God's gift, Tyler Taylor!
Oh, that was pretty nice, man. How you doing?
What's going on?
I mean, it's going, man. It's going. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Must Love Wrestling Wrestletalk. I believe this is 18. This is Wrestletalk 18, man. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we thought we'd give you guys a break on Wednesday. Well, honestly, we had technical difficulties here in Pennsylvania. But for everyone, hopefully you guys had a great Thanksgiving. For my Puerto Rican peoples out there, hope you had a big Acción de Gracias. Thank you so much for that. What about you, Tyler? How do you say Happy Thanksgiving in Canadian?
Happy Thanksgiving, eh?
There you go.
I don't know.
Awesome. That's cool. That's cool.
What is it in French? I don't remember.
Oh yeah, that'll be good.
I don't remember.
Term.
Wow, that's bad.
Yeah, the proper term in Puerto Rican is Feliz Día de Acción de Gracias, which is Thanksgiving. It's just broken up differently, but it's pretty cool. Yeah,
That's
man.
depressing that I forgot that. Wow.
Wow, there you go. It's all right. The Canadian Rican connection. We're just like making people depressed right off the bat. But anyway, let's jump into something that made a lot of people either happy or angry. Why don't we talk about Full Gear, Tyler? And since you are the resident AEW fan, I figured I'd give you the opportunity to go for it and tell us what you liked about AEW Full Gear.
Okay. I thought the Hangman and Swerve had a tremendous match. I know there were some things that were a little over the top. I'm not a huge fan of contrary to our Twilight conversations, I'm not a huge fan of drinking people's blood. But it happened. Other than that, I thought they went all out and really gave everything they had to put on a show. One thing that happened after that I was really impressed with was the four workers in the next match, which was Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, and the Bucks, were smart enough to know to start slow, to give that crowd a chance to kind of come down from that match and get into their match before they really started doing spots. I was really impressed by and that's just what you get with so much experience in that match. I don't know if I'd say it was good. I was amused by MJF recreating Clash of the Champions from like August of '94, where Hogan got taken out by the Horsemen and came back at the very end and fought Flair for the title. And was obviously successful. I thought the two women's matches were pretty good. Toni Storm finally gets her moment. She is the best thing in that division and certainly deserves to be the champion. I like Julia getting her shine too because she's just been improving so much, and I thought they had a good little match. Let's see. The Mox and Orange Cassidy Those guys could just wrestle every day. I'm not a huge Mox fan, as I've stated several times on the show, but they have great chemistry, and I thought they had another really good match. Orange Cassidy, one of our favorites. One of your favorites had some things to say about him this week. Lewis, did you hear that?
No.
One of your favorite podcasters, the Road Dog, had some things to say about Orange Cassidy. That he doesn't like it. He doesn't get it.
Well, nobody gets his fucking character. That's why he's out. That's why he literally commentated on one SmackDown, and they were like, "Get this piece of trash out of here."
And he commentated on SmackDown. I didn't even know that.
Exactly.
And then Orange was like, "Well, at this point, you either get it or you don't, and it's whatever."
I get it.
If you don't get it, you don't want to get it, or something to that effect.
Exactly.
Yeah, whatever. He's over, like we're over, so who cares? Shout out Conrad Thompson for that phrase. Yeah. The triple threat match for the tag titles was there.
Four corners match. Wasn't it four tag?
It was 4 corners, you're right. Ladder match. It happened. Everything about it was fine. I just didn't really care about any of the people. Like, it kind of seemed thrown together, and it didn't matter. And I like the 6-man to start the show.
Yeah.
I'd give it probably 6.5, 7 out of 10. It was not a bad way to spend a Saturday night.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely enjoy having the ability to watch professional wrestling on a Saturday night, which we're going to be watching tomorrow night as well. But for me, I loved Mox and Orange Cassidy. I texted you, I believe, right after the match. I said these guys are a match made in heaven. I love watching them work. I believe that I would really like it if they turned this into like an international championship feud. I feel like we can get like Razor, HBK, Mr. Perfect, Brett. Like, we can get an actual feud out of this. I think it would be worth it.
Maybe a little best of 7 action.
Yeah, I would love that because I definitely enjoy that. Orange Cassidy right now, I feel like he's being held down for some reason. I'm hoping that Tony Khan gets his head out of his ass and he just decides, you know what? Nobody's worthy of taking the title off Max. Why don't we have OC do it? I think that would be perfect. Great way to just keep homegrown talent with the championship. I would really like that. Keep the title on Max's or Max as long as you can, and then just give it to a guy like Orange Cassidy. I'd be pretty happy with that. I also did enjoy the Swerve Hangman match. Obviously, as I've stated on this show plenty of times, I'm a fan of both of these guys. So it's really hard for me to watch it and not be excited for what I saw. I made this comment a couple of days ago to someone, as someone who grew up in not the best situations with having a mom who was very physical. I can tell that Swerve grew up in a similar household by some of the no selling he did for the staples and things like that. I don't think that was an intentional no sell. I think that your body develops leather skin for certain things. So as much as I didn't really want a flashback of my life, I definitely appreciated the fact that he's come so far, knowing that he's a Pennsylvania boy, went to high school out here. That's pretty cool too. Love Hangman Adam Page. I think that the both of them are just a really good tandem together in the ring. I'd like to see where it goes from here now that we're not getting 50-50 booking. Swerve won both matches, so he moves on from here. Maybe Hangman just moves over to a different type of feud, which would be pretty cool. The Team Sting versus Team Christian, I loved. I thought that match was really, really good. I thought that kid Nick Wayne did his job. I mean, obviously, Christian Cage is absolutely at the peak of anything we've ever seen. This is the best version of Christian, in my personal opinion, since his feud with Randy Orton. I cannot tell you anything negative about what he's doing. My opinion about Adam Copeland is that he's become this like genius of a performer where he's able to continue to work in such a great rate, and it hasn't hindered him at all. It doesn't look like he's lost a step at all, but he's
Not at
clearly
all.
not working like he used to. But he definitely works like a main event talent. Main eventers know how to extend their in-ring work, how to give you the most in like a minimal amount of time. I thought they all did a great job of protecting Sting. I mean, he's pretty, he being that he's older, he's in his last year. I think I loved that he only did his certain parts in the match. I really enjoyed that. Uh, Darby continues to baffle me with the bumps he takes. I just don't even know if he genuinely wants to be wrestling in the next 10 years. That choke slam bump to the outside scared the shit out of me. I got flashbacks of 98 Royal Rumble. Like that was such a bad bump. But you made a comment before the show started. I'll use that comment here. Sometimes I think we have to take a step back and understand that maybe these guys know more than we do, or they, so maybe he's taking these bumps and it looks awful to us, but he's actually not getting hurt. So, we'll see. I never want to see Ric Flair throw a punch again or a chop or anything. Just like, why are you doing stuff like this? Like, that was probably my least favorite part of the match.
Wait, isn't he going to wrestle for the world title?
That's what that's what he wants, is he wants to wrestle Max. So we'll see. Definitely enjoyed the Tony Storm match. But I will talk about that when we talk about our negatives of the pay-per-view too, because I do have some things to say about that match. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed the match itself. Just some things that I noticed that I had to go back and do some research on before I could properly like go into how I feel about it. So we'll talk about that.
Are you referring to the stupid dish trying to escape repeatedly?
No.
Okay.
That's just stuff that happens.
Yeah, and that's what I said. I saw people complaining about it, and I was like, well, what do you want them to do? Just stop and fix it?
Nah. I didn't have a problem with that. I'll point out stuff, and maybe you'll visualize that as I'm pointing it out later. But yeah, I also really enjoyed the triple threat match for the TBS championship. I mean, I'm not as big a Julia Hart fan as you are. I think she's really young, and I think a lot of her age shows, but I think her character development has been so good that she's kind of like early Alexa Bliss right now.
Right.
That's what I would compare her to. Anybody who knows anything, early Alexa Bliss was not the best in-ring performer at the time either. She got better gradually over time, and I'm hoping that's what happens with Julia.
But like, just look at her a year ago and compared to now, and it's like, I just like to see improvement. I like to see people working hard to get better.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, those are pretty much my favorite parts of the show. I mean, they're like, I think the tag match was there. It was fine.
Yeah, well, pretty much.
I also thought that the ladder match, I felt like it was just a way to get Ricky Starks and Big Cass on the show, or Big Bill. Like I thought, let's get the tag titles on the show. I like that tag team together. I can't wait till they break up so I can watch them feud. So, yeah, other than that, I mean, that was pretty much it. So, Tyler, why don't you tell me your negatives of the show, if you even have any?
As I said, I feel like that the tag match was the 4-way tag match was just kind of thrown together. I just for a lot of the first part of the show, I just found myself like after so they started with Edge and or the 6-man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then they went to Orange and Mox next.
Yeah.
So after that, until Tony and Sheeta, I just found myself not caring.
Mhm.
Was the tag match the 6-man, the 4-way, the only one that was in between them?
Yeah, I believe so. And the TBS championship.
No, that was after.
Okay. Well,
because that was I think that was after the Will Ospreay announcement, or right before.
oh yeah, that's right. I
Um,
forgot about the Osprey announcement. That's how
there was
memorable
things
it was.
that I just was like, okay, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the negatives for me was Sheeta. I think she might be one of the worst in-ring performers in that women's division. I went back and rewatched it. Thank you, Mikey, at the Biconics, for lending me your password so I could watch this show. I went back and rewatched that match. I have never in my life seen someone do a standing 10 count in a turnbuckle and literally not connect the single punch. She does not connect the single strike to Tony Storm's head. I thought I was going crazy. And then I asked someone else to check too. And I was like, "Yep, she's sitting there seriously like if this is Tony Storm's head, she's going like this." And you can see it blatantly. She kicks Tony Storm a couple times, completely misses, and Tony has to sell for her. Like, I don't understand why she's treating Tony Storm like she's a fragile doll. That woman wrestled in Europe. She knows what it's like to wrestle like stiff, strong. Tony's worked in there with like people like Piper Nevin who work snug, and we've seen them beat the shit out of each other. I don't know. I don't know. I just wonder why Sheeta worked this way. But I went back and watched a couple of her matches, and I realized she actually is this kind of worker. She's not anything like a Kyrie Sane. Like when Kyrie nails you, she nails you, man. You could see it.
I had never really noticed. Yeah.
Yeah. Another negative for me was the way Jay White was meant to look. I really don't understand the booking decision in this. I'm genuinely baffled and confused. The guy is meant to be so strong, meant to be a contender, and then he loses to a guy with one leg. Like in the most like I don't know. I didn't like the booking of the match. Like I said this the other day I was talking to Patty Reekin over at Working the Marks, and we had the same agreement. You're supposed to be selling the leg injury. Your leg is shattered. You had a concerto. It was put through it like in a chair, and someone jumped off the middle rope and stomped it. And you were taken out in an ambulance, and you did a running diamond cutter to the outside. We both agreed he should have collapsed in the middle of the ring when he tried to run. That spot should have never happened. It was a cool spot for any other type of match, but not this match. And it was just like, why? I don't understand. MJF came out looking great. He looks like Super Cena, Super MJF, whatever you want to call him. He comes out looking phenomenal. We get that, or I get that. But what's the purpose of Jay White now? Does he jump to the mid card? And as we've seen, Meltzer, Sean Ross Sapp, and them, they did report that Jay White was very unhappy with the booking decisions of Full Gear. I have to agree with them. I just didn't really like the way he was portrayed. I don't know how you put him in another position to be like a top guy. You have any comments before I continue?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not really. It's hard to defend other than. So is he just upset because he thinks he looked weak, or because he didn't win?
Because he looked weak. Because
Okay.
He was meant to. Yeah, I don't think he gives a shit whether he won or lost. Like I don't think that matters to wrestlers. I think that's more of a fan thing to gripe about.
Matters to some of them.
Yeah, I mean, Probably.
But I don't know. To me, I didn't really. I guess I compartmentalized it, so I don't even think about him like looking weak necessarily. Like, because I mean, he did dominate the match.
Mm-hmm. I guess it just looks like, I don't know. I guess it just looks like right now Max is being positioned to be this unbeatable champion, which is totally the story they're giving. But is anybody moving in the right direction after working with Max right now? Or is it meant to just like have like people fed to Max? Is that what's happening? You know what I mean?
Who was his last defense? He didn't defend it at Wrestle Dream, right?
Mm-mm. No.
I mean, he's had a couple of random defenses on TV, but those aren't.
Mm-hmm.
His last major defense was against Joe, I'd say, and Joe still seems to be doing all right.
Yeah, I mean, Joe went out there. He beat Keith Lee. People they're unhappy about it. They're crying the blues because he didn't drop the title to Keith Lee. Sorry, Keith Lee sucks. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know. You yourself made a video not too long ago where you were talking about him not being used properly, and
Yeah, but he apparently is super difficult to work with, and that's why he doesn't move up in the company. So if you're going to be super difficult to work with, and then what? There's nothing to defend. I can like you in the ring, and you could still be an asshole.
right, and that is kind of what I had understood from previous employment as well.
Yeah, apparently him and Gunther, which I don't know, we'll have to find to report. Like we'll have to find a report so we can confirm it to you guys. But him and Gunther were both approached with the same stuff. You know, drop a little bit of pounds. Get your cardio up. We want to extend your shelf life. Gunther took it seriously, went completely in a direction that they told him to go. He's been super successful. Keith Lee was offended. Told him he had heart problems.
Well, he does.
Yeah,
That's not untrue, but that's another reason to maybe shed a few pounds.
yeah, agreed. So
I'm not one to talk, but
yeah, but I mean, you're not out here trying to be like a, multi-time world champion in the biggest company in the world. So, or the second biggest, so whatever you want to say.
yeah.
Yeah, those are pretty much my thoughts on Full Gear. I don't really have a lot of negative to say. Just little things like storytelling wise. Sheeta was probably the thing that just stuck out to me because I've been told by so many on the interwebs that she's the face, that she's like the top girl in that division, and I'm expecting her and Tony Storm to tear the house down, and I'm just thinking like, wow. So there's been this discourse running around, Tyler, that MJF's babyface run has pulled all of the special away from him. What do you think?
I think whoever is saying that is very clearly not listening to the fans when he's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's certainly still getting huge reactions.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the other night they're chanting "BR scumbag," the whole crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I don't get where that comes from. I think people just want a certain thing, and people of our ilk, the smarks, if you will, want a certain thing, and when we don't get it, we're like, "Oh yeah, he sucks now."
Okay. I mean, I would say what made Max special was his unfilteredness. I was never particularly a fan. I feel like I went from not being a fan to just being like, he's fine. Like when I watch him now, I understand the story they're telling, and I I don't really care if he's the champion or not the champion because I agree with what the owner of the company said that the most important championship is being held by Orange Cassidy. So if the owner of the company says that, I agree with that. So I feel like the championship he has is like a paper championship. It's not really important. I don't even look at him as a top championship, a top champion in all of pro wrestling. Ring of Honor, I feel like their champion means more. Like their championship means more. New Japan, IWGP, whatever. WWE World Heavyweight Champion. I feel like Rhea Ripley's a bigger champion than MJF. I feel like Io Sky's a bigger champion than MJF.
Why do you think? Why do you think that?
I don't think that there's anything great about him. I think they're trying. I don't think there's anything original in what they're doing. When I look at this feud with Adam Cole, or that we don't know it's Adam Cole, I'm sorry, we're not supposed to know that he's the devil. When I look at this, there's nothing about it that like I want to know. Like we were talking about the Vince McMahon with the authority angle, right? Mm-hmm. And how he pulls off the thing. I wanted to know who was under that hood. I wanted to know who was running everything. I remembered. I don't care who the devil is. I didn't miss him or miss the devil at Full Gear. I wasn't happy or unhappy. It was like, it was fine. Like, I was like, whatever, that show was what it was. Right. I've come to the realization that I can enjoy an AEW show from bottom to right before the main event. And then Max will go out there and he'll give me a Bray Wyatt main event. And it's like, okay. Like, I don't like anything he does. Anything. I don't appreciate his promos. I don't think they're original. At least I liked Bray Wyatt's promos. At least I thought Bray Wyatt was a genius storyteller. I just didn't think he could, he obviously didn't spend a lot of time working at his craft in the ring, but he was great everywhere else. I don't know what is great about Max. Because you brought up the crowd, but Damian Sandow was very over too.
Yeah, and he was pretty good, and he should have gotten more than he did.
Damian Sandow was never world championship worthy. That's why he dropped that's why they never put the strap on him. Like, yeah, there's been lots of guys that have been over that are
not to this degree, I don't think, and I'm pretty sure that you would have to admit that your opinion is in the vast minority.
Sure, but he's not making any money. The company's not making any more money with him as champion that I think that they would do if Adam Copeland held the title.
Maybe not, but I don't know that they're making any less.
But he's supposed to be the guy. Like, he's supposed to be the face of the company. When I look at him, I'm just like, okay. Like, even his little, like, crying fit at the thing after with, like, him eating the pickle. Like, I was just watching it, and I was just like,
that was a little over the top.
Yeah, I was like, what is this? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to say it. I don't know what it is about him, but he doesn't make me feel anything. And isn't that what wrestling's supposed to do? At least make you feel something?
But you felt that way about him from the jump.
Yeah, I felt like Max was very much like Billy Real. He was like from like the Jersey All Pro days, or he was very much like early Steve Corino, like, which I was fine with. I was like, okay, this guy's great. But then once they started putting him like in title pictures and having him in big feuds, I was like, okay, they got big plans for this guy. Let me see if I could pay attention to him. And then I watch him and I'm just like, yeah, he doesn't make me think of anything. Like, he doesn't make me feel anything, which is strange. I was going to say this the other day. I don't even care if he drops the championship. I don't even look at the championship in AEW as like a main title anymore. It feels like he bought that title at Target and he just walks around with it.
That just doesn't, like, we just had a conversation, I don't know, a few weeks ago about all the great championship matches he's had.
Yeah, I mean, his best championship match, yeah, I get it. He's got the Bryan match, he's got the Samoa Joe match.
Kenny Omega.
Yeah, Kenny Omega. He's
4 Pillars.
He's okay. Like, he's fine. He can work when he works a generational talent like the guys we just mentioned. He's going to put on a good match. Sure. I mean, these are all guys that are in the, HBK territory. Not so much that they are HBK, but that
Of the 4
that
Pillars, who's in the HBK territory?
I mean, you like that match, Tyler. I didn't like that match. I said that on our podcast here.
It's okay, but I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to like the same thing. It's like your thing. Like, you don't like Roman Reigns. It doesn't make me hate Roman because you hate him.
No, but it seems like you're completely discounting the opinions of 90% of the fandom.
If I was discounting them, I would tell them that they're all idiots for liking MJF. No,
and because his title's meaningless. It's not as important as the friggin' GCW title or something.
Yeah. That's how I feel.
Okay, well,
in that company right now, I look as the top champion is Orange Cassidy, because that's what Tony Khan told me.
That's not really what he said.
Okay, so when you say that,
I don't know what his exact words were.
His exact words were that is the most important championship in AEW. What does that mean to you then?
Those were not his exact words.
So
that's what you took. That's what you took. I don't remember what his exact words were, but I went back and listened to it, and I know it wasn't exactly what he said.
I know that Tony Khan's never gone out there in any scrum and said anything about MJF's title reign. Why
does he have to? Max will tell you everything you want to know himself. Tony Khan doesn't have to say anything.
When does Max talk about his championship?
Every chance he gets?
No. It's like Will Ospreay said the other day. How many people does Max look in the face and say his little catchphrase where the person looking at him is just like, well, you're not fucking serious? Like, it's the truth. Will said it the other day, whether he was working people or not. There's no way MJF could look at Will Ospreay in the middle of the ring and say, I'm better than you and you know it, because not a single person that's living on this planet would agree with him.
Better at what?
Anything.
Okay. I don't know that
Will's
I've ever heard.
Talker,
I've never heard Will Ospreay cut a promo, so I don't know.
He just cut a promo last Saturday.
It wasn't really a promo.
It was very passionate. The crowd was into it.
Okay.
I mean, am I wrong?
I've seen him talk and have very heartfelt, press conference scrums and whatnot, and he seems like the type of guy the audience can connect with. But like, I don't know that he's a better promo.
I don't know. When I look at Max, I look at him as a guy that will be remembered as quite possibly having the worst AEW championship reign in recent memory.
I just can't agree.
Okay. I mean, that's fine. I'm not telling you need to agree with me. I was just on a podcast the other day where everyone on the podcast agreed with the same thing. He has the worst AEW title reign. AEW World Championship reign. It's lackluster. He needs, and I repeat, he needs to work a generational talent to have a special match. And other than that, he can have a match like a Spot Fest match, like the 4 Pillars match, like you mentioned. But,
would you consider Ricky Starks a generational talent?
I believe he is.
Okay, because that match is awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a reason. Why not carry on with that feud? Why not have Ricky Starks and MJF continue? Like, why do you think that didn't happen?
I don't know. I know you have an opinion, but it's never been confirmed.
No, I agree.
It's never even been rumored.
That's my opinion. I mean, I look at it, but I'm not the only person that feels this way. A lot of people feel like he's been torched in the ring before. I mean, that happens. The Miz is probably the best promo in WWE, but he's been torched in the ring. He just got torched by Gunther last week. Like, sometimes...
The Miz, Mike Mizanin.
Yeah, he's probably the best promo in WWE.
He's the best promo in WWE.
Who's the best promo?
Not the Miz.
Okay, well, who?
I don't know. I didn't have a list. I didn't have my list prepared.
Wrestler.
I didn't have a list prepared.
Comparing a manager to a wrestler is an unfair.
I never. And did I compare a manager to a wrestler? Okay, I didn't say.
So, in-ring performer, who's a better promo in WWE than The Miz?
Seth?
No.
Right now.
Okay, well, Seth wouldn't even tell you that.
Cody? Absolutely is. Cody absolutely is.
I'm not even a fan of The Miz. Like, I don't ride or die for this guy or anything, but I can, like, actually look at him objectively. Are you doing this?
He's a good promo.
Okay.
He's obviously a good talker. They wouldn't put him out there every week to talk.
Sure. I mean, there's a reason that they throw people with him first.
Yeah, I am sorry. I just think Cody is by far better.
Okay. I mean, that's your opinion, and that's fine. I mean, I think Cody's a great talker too. I just feel like The Miz is more consistent.
Nakamura certainly has had more compelling promos.
Yes, because we're actually able to see like the coherence in what he's saying instead of having somebody force him to speak a language he's not comfortable speaking.
I know when Miz cuts a promo, when he actually cuts like an impassioned promo, it's the same thing every time. I've done all this, and you guys get all these opportunities, and I don't. He does it once or twice a year. Breaks it out once or twice a year, whether he needs it or not.
Okay,
it's the same promo, but it's the same thing.
Okay, well, how many Fast and the Furious movies are there? They're the same thing. They still make $1 billion in the box office,
and The Miz does not. If he drew that kind of money, he would be world champion.
He's a 2-time WWE champion, a 10-time Intercontinental champion.
He's a 2-time. He's a 2-time WWE champion because once he cashed in Money in the Bank, so that Drew didn't actually have to lose the title.
I don't.
They use you want to talk about Shawn Michaels being a transitional champion to get the belt to Austin. The Miz is the transitional champion getting the belt from Drew to Bobby Lashley. The best example of a transitional champion that there is.
Okay. Well,
him and Bob Backlund
literally went to WrestleMania against the biggest star in WWE history, and he beat him.
How is that match looked? How is that match looked at?
Nobody talks about his concussion. They talk about the same thing. The Miz beat John Cena in the main event of WrestleMania,
and they don't say that that's one of the worst main events of one of the worst Manias ever.
I haven't heard that. No,
you haven't heard that.
No. People don't look at injuries as a worst case scenario. So if you do, that just speaks to the type of person you are.
I've seen several. It's on several lists as one of the worst matches.
Okay, sure.
It was terrible before he got hurt.
Sure. Then Sid Vicious breaking his leg in the match makes that match terrible.
It was terrible before he got hurt.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. That's like the guy got injured. You can't say that something is bad when someone gets injured.
So they could shit the bed for 29 out of 30 minutes. The guy gets injured in the 30 minutes.
He got injured in the first 5 to 7 minutes of the match.
It was probably 15 minutes in.
The match itself was 15 minutes long.
It was close to the end.
We both love a sport that plays every Sunday that billions of people watch. And whenever a player gets injured, no one blames anybody. It's just like, fuck, injuries happen.
Yeah, okay, and it did happen.
Tore his UCL in the NFC Championship game. Nobody's blaming the Niners. Nobody's blaming Brock Purdy for the injury. They're just like, what did all the commentators say? This sucks. We didn't get the game we wanted because of an injury. And now we don't really know what team is better. That's what was said. When Donovan McNabb tore his ACL, when Robert Griffin III hurt his knee against the Seahawks, this sucks. We didn't get what we were supposed to get. Nobody considers those as the worst football games ever. That's what I'm saying. Like, nobody considers that match a worse match because
Okay,
The Miz
well,
got
I
hurt.
guess,
He was
you don't
loopy.
watch the lists that have worse WrestleMania matches on it then, because
You
it's
mean
on
the
there.
Bret Hart list from London?
Okay.
Well,
Well,
no, I
they're
don't value those guys' opinion. Everything that they do is about like shitting on Shawn Michaels. That's exactly what those lists are.
well, Shawn Michaels has nothing to do with that match, and it's on there.
Okay, well, that's their opinion. Then they don't value like an injury over anything else. I mean, not everybody could do that. Not everybody's special lucky enough to have like when Kurt Angle gets a concussion, yet The Rock and Triple H are still working in the ring. Like
He had The
didn't
Rock
have
and
that.
John Cena to work with.
The Rock came out at the very end, gave a rock bottom to John Cena.
The
And that
Rock was
the
out there the
end
whole
of
time
match.
because he was an enforcer for the match.
But I'm saying he interrupted the match at the very end. That's all he did. He came in, he hit one move.
Well, my point is they could have improvised more there.
Okay. Well, I didn't
Okay.
realize that you were smart. I didn't realize that you were smarter than, like more concussion experts. Stefania Bell says it all the time. A small concussion, a large concussion, it's all the same thing. The guy
Okay.
was loopy as fuck. His eyes were
And he shouldn't have been wrestling.
Exactly. They did what they could. That's why it should get a pass.
Okay, so it's bad for 3/4 of the match. He gets hurt, and so he gets a pass for all that happened before it too.
But the match wasn't bad. It's like your thing, like you just don't like anything John Cena does. It's like your unwillingness to agree that John Cena versus JBL at 21 was a good match.
I didn't say
I
it
even
wasn't a
broke
good
it
match.
down but I've told you that it's one of the better matches on the entire card, and you're just like, nah, I don't think so.
Well, it's not one of the better matches on the entire card. The entire card had Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle. It had Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio. It had the first ever Money in the Bank ladder match. It had Randy Orton versus The Undertaker. So it's not one of the best matches on the card.
That Randy Orton versus Undertaker match was shit.
Okay, you've said before that you thought it was great, so...
No, I've said Randy Orton versus Undertaker Hell in the Cell was great.
No, that's not
that
true.
match. That
That's
match
not
was not great.
Okay.
I just can't believe that you're saying because he got injured.
There's nothing to do with him getting injured. The match sucked before.
He did. That's the thing. This isn't the Roman Reigns cancer thing, Tyler. This literally happened. When I talk about Roman Reigns cancer and how he works 11 matches a year because his body probably can't work more than that, and you bitch and moan that he's the champion, and you're like, I don't give a fuck if he has cancer. This is not what that's about.
I never said I don't care if he has cancer. I said
okay, but you said that he shouldn't be the champion, even though that his 11 matches a year are still outselling everybody in the fucking globe. So, like, maybe we should just shut the fuck up and appreciate what Roman Reigns is doing instead of bitching about it.
If a match sucks before someone gets hurt, him getting hurt should not.
Okay, well, that's exactly my point. That's why your opinion is shit, because you're sitting here saying that Roman Reigns doesn't know how to wrestle, that he's not a good wrestler. And that's what I'm saying about The Miz.
When did I say that?
Well, because you bitch and moan about the SummerSlam match all the time. Like,
yeah, because it was not a good match.
Listen, I'm a Bryan Danielson fan. Max has never had a match that fucking good. Okay? Never. That Iron Man match is not better than the SummerSlam match with Jey Uso.
You're full of shit. You're just saying that. You're saying that to try to piss me off now.
Okay, sure. So tell me, what match sold more money? What did more money?
So that makes it better because it hadn't made more money?
Yes, absolutely. Because that's the country we live in.
So that's what you're. So you're not a wrestling fan anymore. You're just all about whatever made the most money.
I'm absolutely.
So you're Vince McMahon now. You work for TKO, or do you have an opinion as a fan?
Okay, are you going to let me talk, or are you just going to bitch and moan about something?
I don't know. You just went on a rant for 10 minutes, so I think I have a right to talk too.
Listen, I'm telling you that if your guy can't sell fucking anybody and he can't bring anybody in, well, he's shit. I'm sorry. That's what he is. He's a shit champion. Tony Khan is just wasting his... The rise and fall of AEW is going to be a fucking great documentary when it comes out, because he just decided to keep the championship on a midget for like 365 days who wears lifts so fucking high that he makes the Huggy Bear in Starsky and Hutch look like he's wearing normal shoes. That's how fucking big MJF's lifts are. Getting back to the Mike Mizanin, I'm sorry, I'm not going to agree with you on this. Mike Mizanin was injured in that match. He was loopy. You can go back and watch the match as soon as we shut off the podcast. I'm sorry if you want to be the type of person that says, oh yeah, the whole match was shit. It wasn't to me.
I'm not discussing the part about when after he was hurt. I'm saying before it still wasn't good. The whole feud wasn't good. His whole title run wasn't good. None of it. The best part of his title run was the match on Raw against Jerry Lawler. He even says it.
Whose match was best?
The best match of Miz's entire title run was a match on Raw against Jerry Lawler. The best part of his whole run.
Oh, okay. So we don't have on our podcast in our early Wrestle Talks, we don't have you talking about his match with John Morrison for the WWE Championship then. I just made that up. Am I lying too?
No, I like that match. I do.
Okay.
It didn't matter. It was inconsequential though.
But that was in his title run, right?
Okay.
Okay. The Miz
in his opinion
was okay because I'm going to call you out for fucking lying on the podcast as you want to call out Bruce Pritchard and everything. The Miz versus John Cena was 15 minutes and 21 seconds. Now I'm going to tell you when he got injured. I want your real reaction because you said he got injured 15 minutes into the match. So that means only 21 seconds.
Okay, so it seemed longer than that then, okay? It happened fucking what? 12 years ago? I'm supposed to remember the exact length of a match from 12 years ago?
You said the whole match was shit. You said the whole match was shit. Like his concussion means nothing. And
you just want to keep saying that to make yourself feel better, to make yourself feel like you're some moral high ground, when the reality is I said it was bad before that.
No, it wasn't. You just don't like anything that doesn't have flips and knee slaps in it. That's the problem.
Don't like anything that isn't technical wizardry and Bryan Danielson go out the ring.
Orange Cassidy's all of those things, right? I'm not a big fan of Orange Cassidy. He's all of those things, right? Swerve Strickland is all of those things, right? I don't like Swerve.
They're not technical wrestlers. They're not.
Nope.
They're not brawlers. They're not brawlers. They're not flippers.
Who have I compared Swerve to on this show numerous times? Chris Kanyon. He wasn't a technical wrestler. He was an innovative wrestler.
He's the guy they use to teach people wrestling scenes and fight scenes.
Yeah, innovative. He comes up with shit.
Okay.
I've just never heard anybody. I've never ever heard anybody tell me that the match Sid Vicious got injured in was a terrible match. Nobody
what does that have one have to do with the other?
Because they both got injured, and you said both matches suck, and it's making me.
If they'd wrestled a shitty match for 10 minutes, and then he got hurt, and they went 5 more minutes, then the first 10 minutes don't get a pass. He gets a pass for the rest of it, sure. It's too bad he got hurt. Maybe they could have pulled it out. Who knows?
That's the most nonsensical thing I've ever heard. I'm sorry.
All right, Lewis, let me ask you a question. Mm-hmm. So say we have a 30-minute match. Somebody gets hurt 26 minutes in, but the first 26 minutes sucked. The whole match gets a pass because they got hurt?
Yes. Let me ask you a question. Bryan Danielson versus Okada, right? Mm-hmm. That match.
Yeah.
What do people remember about that match?
Apparently not much from some of the things I've seen lately.
Exactly. What they remember the most about that match is Bryan's injury.
Okay. So since you wanted to bring up the NFL, let's go to a football example.
Mm-hmm.
If a team loses 28-7, and their quarterback got hurt with 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, the whole thing's because the quarterback got hurt? They have an excuse?
How much time is left?
6 minutes.
And they got injured at the end?
Maybe 10 minutes. 10 minutes. We'll say 10 minutes. Maybe even at the end of the third quarter. We'll give you that much. We'll give you a quarter of the game. But they lost by 3 touchdowns. They were losing 21-7 when the guy got hurt.
They were losing 21-7.
He got hurt going into the fourth quarter. They get to use that as an excuse for losing?
No, absolutely not. That's not what happened here.
Well, that's my point. To me, from what I saw, when Miz got hurt, they were already down 21-7. If that makes more sense.
No, it doesn't. I'm sorry. I just can't agree with that because
why?
Because they wrestled 11 minutes and they had a pretty solid match that I've been watching while I'm talking to you here, where they're both working really well for each other. They're doing awesome spots for each other. They're both selling for each other.
Is it worthy of being a WrestleMania main event?
Yeah. Why wouldn't it be? We ended with The Rock and John Cena.
Yes, and the 2 stars alone in that match.
Okay. What's 15 minus 7?
8.
Okay. So the final 8 minutes of the match was The Miz's injury.
Okay, so he got hurt. We'll say he got hurt going into the second half.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're... But to me, they're already down. They're already done. It was already over.
Just complimented in the beginning of our show. You just complimented the Rockers Light and the Golden Jets for starting slow.
Because of what had happened before. They didn't have that problem. There was nothing on that show that caused them to have to let the crowd calm down. That show was terrible. The entire show. It had Cody versus Ray was good. Punk versus Orton was good. Mm-hmm. And Edge versus Del Rio was okay. And again, Edge was hurt, so we'll say it could have been better.
So Edge gets a pass, but The Miz doesn't.
Sure, he does. Okay, he gets a pass for the part of the match that he was hurt. Edge was hurt the whole time, and they still had a better match.
Okay.
Edge had a career-ending injury that entire match, and they still had a better match than Cena and The Miz.
Sure, because the head injuries where you don't know where the fuck you are. There's a reason why in the NFL, when someone gets a concussion, they're not allowed to go back into the game.
And they should have stopped the match.
Because when The Miz hit his head after that jump over the guardrail, he turned into Colt McCoy after he got hit by James Harrison.
And the match should have been stopped.
It should have been. But they needed, which is why The Rock came down and cut a promo.
Exactly.
And got them back in the ring.
But they should have just stopped the match, and then Rock and Cena could have had their little confrontation, had a little brawl, give us all a little taste, and that's all anyone would remember. And then we wouldn't even remember whether the match was good or not.
But you know what The Miz did? He ate through his concussion. He went in there. He hit a move on John Cena. He caught him. After he got his hand raised, The Rock came out, gave him punches in the rock bottom. He sold more. That's my point. The Miz might be the most undervalued wrestler we've ever seen.
I don't honestly think that should be praised, because then more people will think they should do it.
I mean, that's the world we lived in for a very long time. That wouldn't happen today. Bryan caught a stinger in a match with Randy Orton. They stopped the match live on Raw.
Right, and that's what they should have done right there.
Exactly.
I'm not going to say The Miz is terrible. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying his title reigns are bad. And he was the definition of a transitional champion when he won that second title. Sure. He got the title, so Drew didn't have to drop it to Bobby.
Okay, well then I'm going to say something that's going to piss you off. The Miz beating Drew McIntyre and holding it for 1 week to get it to Bobby Lashley was more significant than 365 days of MJF's run.
And you're full of shit, so that's great. Okay. Good for you.
Well, Bobby Lashley winning the championship, being a black champion that was able to crush it, go to WrestleMania, defend the championship against the top guy during all of COVID, and get him to tap out and continue to be a champion for a long time until he inevitably lost the championship to the Big E. All of that mattered.
It did matter, but he could have just won it. He didn't have to. They didn't have to do it that way.
Okay, so when MJF drops the championship, the next guy that holds the championship is gonna be as successful as Bobby Lashley and Big E?
I don't know. Probably Big E, because again, Big E is another one of those runs that, and it's not his fault because I just think it was booked terribly. Wasn't that good?
I just you've said the thing is, I don't think that our listeners can agree with you because you said on our show you just don't like anything that WWE books. You said that on our show.
And do you think I'm the only person that said that Big E's title reign was?
I think you're one of the internet. I think you're one of the internet faithful that feels that way. But I think that millions of people watch WWE right now. They're probably going to bank another 2.3 million tonight, and they're going to sell. They just opened more ticket sales for tomorrow night. WrestleMania is an entire week in Philadelphia, and thousands of people are going to be there to watch it. Friday Night SmackDown, the Hall of Fame, all of this matters.
Can I ask it another way?
Sure.
Do you not think that Big E deserved better for his title reign?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. But just like it's been told to me before when I was angry that Drew didn't win at Cardiff, it just wasn't his time. This is Roman's time right now. We just need to enjoy what we're watching. Because I've said this before and I'll say it again. All of these idiot fans that were chanting Cena sucks when John Cena was heading to the ring, now they refuse to chant it. Because now they appreciated what Cena did. They appreciate him. I say it all the time with LeBron James. Everybody hates everything he's doing right now, but if he retired this year, all of a sudden he's going to be everybody's favorite basketball player.
But let's be honest, nobody's hated on LeBron more than you have in the past.
I don't know.
For some reason, you found some sort of newfound respect for him.
No, I've made this very clear. As long as he's not mentioned with Black Jesus, then I love LeBron James. But the moment he gets mentioned with the greatest athlete to ever touch any sport ever, then that's when that's where I feel like I have to shred down his credibility because just not
again and let me just ask this again. It's better to lose in the first round than lose in the finals, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, it is.
How can you say that? You can finish 16th or you can finish second. You want to rather finish 16th?
Is it better to have 6-0 in the finals or to have 6 losses in the finals?
Well, it means you got there. It means you didn't lose beforehand. You beat all those other teams. Whereas if you lose in the first round, you didn't beat anybody.
So when you did field day in school, your school gave out participation trophies then?
No, but there was probably a silver medal and a bronze medal.
Okay. I don't know what you're getting at here. You're telling me that you agree with the woke nation that because LeBron made it to the finals, that means that he's the best all time because he made it there. He lost.
Because he made it to how many consecutive?
Okay, but we're also going to discount the fact that he lost 3 of those finals 4-1, 4-0, 4-0.
Would those be on Cleveland against Golden State?
Nope. He lost 4-0 to the Spurs.
When Tony he was his very first final. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan's very first final, he won. He beat the Showtime.
How many years into his career was his very first final?
7.
Okay, and LeBron's was what, 3?
11. His first championship.
His first final was what, though, 3?
Sure, yeah.
His first championship was not 11 years in. They won it in 2012. That would be 9 at most.
9 years. Okay.
8. They won it in 2011, 2012. So his rookie year was 03-04. So 8.
Okay. So his first championship. He won it in 2012, yes.
Yeah, 2011, 2012 season. His rookie year was 03-04.
Okay. And the NBA players that did the top 75, right? The NBA players and analysts and all that, right? Where is Scottie Pippen ranked and where is Dwayne Wade ranked?
I don't know.
Is Scottie Pippen considered the greatest power forward of all time? No. Is he considered the second greatest power forward of all time? No. The third? No.
Is Dwayne Wade considered top 3 all time in this position?
Yes.
So shooting guard, right?
Yes. Jordan, Kobe, Wade.
Maybe. I'm not disputing that he's better than Jordan. I just think it's definitely better to lose in the finals than it is to lose in the first round.
Sure, but when you lose, I mean, if you're putting it that way, at least Jordan made it to the playoffs his rookie year. LeBron didn't make it to the playoffs till his third year.
Did he make it in his rookie year?
Yeah, they lost. He scored 63 points against the Boston Celtics. That's where he
was in 1986.
Okay, so his second year he made it.
Okay,
but don't forget he broke his ankle like a week into the season one year.
No, Jordan's the greatest. There shouldn't be any argument. If there is, it should be for Kobe. But I still think it's the further you go, the better it is.
Sure, if you win,
like if you get to the Super Bowl, it's better than losing in wild card round, right?
I mean, I don't know. Ask the Buffalo Bills. Nobody considers them one of the greatest teams ever.
They definitely should. I mean, they made 4 straight Super Bowls. That's pretty impressive.
They lost 4 straight Super Bowls to like 3 different teams. That's nuts.
Why don't we change the subject to something I think we're going to agree on?
What, Survivor Series?
No. Yeah.
Okay. So recently, Nikki Bella, and I say recently over the past 2 years, Nikki Bella has made a lot of headway going at the WWE. She has really called out the company and pointed out insider information, such things as they laugh at the fans because they manipulate us into knowing who to root for, things like that. And they get angry when they do awards and fans vote in a way that they don't want us to vote. She's also said that what she did for women's wrestling was so important, and WWE has done everything in its power to pretty much erase her and her sister from WWE. She has talked about this in a podcast with Renee Paquette. She just talked about it with her new game show where they asked her about WWE. Now, before I drop the little bomb that I want to drop on this, I wanted to ask you, what is your opinion of Nikki Bella having so much animosity towards WWE?
So, like, some of the things she says are accurate, and like, I can understand the way she felt about like the way the women have been used, but you know that meme where it's like that feeling when the worst person you know just said something you agree with or just told the truth or something? Mm-hmm. That's kind of how I feel about this, because it's like the reason they don't acknowledge you, the reason they don't paint you as one of the greatest, and they did for a long time, is because you're not. Mm-hmm. You weren't good.
Agreed.
Like the travesty of the one women's revolution show, which they should do every year, especially now that they have as much talent as they do, is that the main event had her in it. Especially, like, I'm not even mad that Ronda was in it, because I mean, Ronda, at least
because the women have acknowledged that Ronda got them that pay-per-view,
transcends the sport. Mm-hmm. Nikki Bella is just like, she should get down on her hands and knees and thank WWE, because she would not have a career. She would not be where she is if they hadn't done the whole Total Divas.
I mean, I find this very hypocritical because Nikki Bella was very instrumental in WWE trying to erase AJ Lee. After AJ had just set a record for 297 days as Divas champion, they put the title on Nikki And the very next person after AJ that won the championship broke her record and literally set the new record for the longest reigning Divas champ and then dropped the championship to Charlotte Flair on the very next pay-per-view. Charlotte's first reign. A rookie coming up from NXT. I mean, when I want to play devil's advocate here because I feel like if we're just going to shred down Nikki Bella, it might upset some people. So here's what I will say. I have this gut feeling that the deletion nice Matt Hardy reference there, Lewis, that the deletion of Nikki Bella might have something to do with WWE's relationship with John Cena.
Why do you really think he would care?
I mean,
do they have animosity?
I mean, I have no idea. I mean, she literally got married and then had a baby, like
he left her. Is he not married now?
Yeah, he's married. He seems happy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's just me trying to figure out why this is happening to her, because I don't think that she was ever like, Deborah or Miss Kitty. Like, I don't think she was ever of that. Like, she actually tried to work.
Yeah.
I mean, her sister was always the better in-ring performer, but
definitely.
She apparently was their choice to be.
Can't imagine why that was.
Yeah, I mean, Brie got the spot at WrestleMania against Stephanie for a reason.
Yeah,
and then I mean, Nikki. They do that whole like Nikki betrays her. I don't know. When I look at it, I just kind of see it as it's unfortunate that WWE has this pettiness with people. But what I will say is Gunther broke Honky Tonk Man's record, and it's pretty well documented that Triple H feels a certain way about Honky Tonk Man and what he means to professional wrestling. And I'm just curious if maybe Triple H doesn't want to go backwards and have people think of people like Nikki Bella.
It could be. On that subject, Gunther is currently feuding with Miz, correct?
Yeah.
You know who needs one title to tie the record for most Intercontinental titles?
Who?
Miz. He would tie Jericho if he wins it. He has 8.
He already.
Miz has 8.
Okay.
Jericho has 9.
Okay.
Can you see them? Can you not see them hot-shotting? Miz wins it, Gunther wins it back. Miz wins it.
No, I think they're building Gunther as like the next big star. Like I think they're slow rolling him.
You don't think they're petty enough to do that?
No. Because I think Triple H now likes Jericho, and he's probably waiting for Jericho to come back.
You think so?
Yeah. Jericho is Jericho in AEW, but he's different. In WWE, he's special. He's Y2J. He's I don't know. When I think of Chris Jericho in WWE, I think of one of my favorite all-time wrestlers. Like, this guy's the man. He's the Ayatollah of rock and rolla. He's one bad Mama Jamma. When I think of him in AEW, I think of him as, Randy the Ram.
You really want to fight tonight, don't you?
Wow, breaking news on SmackDown. Dragon Lee is replacing Carlito. Yeah, it looks like it. It just says official. Dragon Lee will replace Carlito and take on Santos Escobar tomorrow at Survivor Series. Why? I'm gonna have to watch SmackDown to find out why that happened. It's funny you mentioned that if the worst person says something you agree with, because last night one of the Seahawks players had this amazing one-handed grab, and I seriously thought to myself, I fucking hate the Seahawks, but that was so awesome. Like, I just couldn't.
The Jackson Smith and Jigba catch on the sidelines there.
Yeah.
And then they were talking about, they're like trying to mention it in the same breath as OBJ, and it's like, no, come on.
Yeah.
Dude had 3 fingers and he got his feet in bounds.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because they mentioned it being anniversary and all that.
Yeah. I don't know. But we have taken up enough of a time, so we're gonna jump right into our Survivor Series preview. And so, Tyler, what are you looking forward to most tomorrow night at Survivor Series? Since there's only 5 matches, we don't have there's not a lot of time to go over it.
Yeah. So we've got War Games.
We've got the 2 War Games matches. We have Damage Control versus Becky, Charlotte, Bianca, and Shotzi.
That's a weird team.
I mean, sure. Then we have the Judgment Day the Judgment Day and Drew McIntyre versus Cody, main event Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Randy Orton, and who's the other guy?
Just that champion guy, just him.
Oh yeah, Seth Rollins. Yeah, that's right.
Just the top guy, no big deal.
Yeah. It's just strange to me that Seth is in a.
It is. It is weird. Although, the champion always used to be in a Survivor Series match. I wish they would just do Survivor Series.
I agree. I mean, you've mentioned
it's just fun.
Before. Yeah. I mean, you've mentioned it before. You like the old school Survivor Series, and I told you I like the Vince McMahon booked Survivor Series, which he booked those both. But I really enjoyed Vince versus how Vince did champion versus champion. I really like that.
Oh, you like the brand versus brand thing?
Yeah.
I hated those.
I really enjoyed NXT versus Raw.
That one was good. That one was really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got Dragon Lee versus
Dragon Lee versus Santos is just gonna fucking slap.
Yes.
I mean, I thought the match with Carlito was gonna slap, but I mean, Dragon Lee is really cool. I like watching him work.
Yeah, for sure. Excited about that one. What else is on the show?
I mean, supposedly Shinsuke Nakamura is gonna call out someone tomorrow. There's been a lot of breaking news
Nakamura versus CM Punk.
I mean, there's been a lot of breaking news today. I'll tell you some of the breaking news that says, breaking news, CM Punk spotted in Chicago. No shit.
Oh, gee, I wonder why he lives there.
Yeah. Breaking news, CM Punk spotted in Starbucks in downtown Chicago. No shit.
I wonder if he was at the game today. The Leafs played the Blackhawks this afternoon.
Maybe.
I wonder if he went.
He seems to really have a thing with making fun of the Leafs, though.
Yeah, tell me about it. And then they won, too, in overtime, the Blackhawks.
Yeah. The Blackhawks won.
Yes.
Well, I mean, they could be the Devils, so they could.
Well, they're 6-12, so I think you're a little better.
I mean, the Devils are 8-9. They were 7-3, so.
And then their best 2 players got hurt. Yeah. They'll have that.
Yeah. I mean,
injury, man, it doesn't count.
Yeah. Well, that's what they say. Honestly, that what I'm looking forward to most tomorrow at Survivor Series is I'm looking forward to Damage Control turning on Bayley. I really think Becky Becky wins the match, and I think it would be nice if Shotzi won the match. That would be pretty cool. And whatever happens, I think Bayley takes the pin. And then right after Bayley takes the pin, I believe that as the faces are celebrating going up the ramp, Damage Control turns on her. So I'm looking forward to that happening. Looking forward to seeing Randy Orton. It's been a very long time since he's worked, so I want to see what he looks like. There's a lot of reports that he's pretty heavy right now. Like, not like chubby, but he's put on a lot of muscle to protect his back. So I'm curious to see what he looks like, how he works, to see if anything looks normal, if he's changed his style. So
is he going to work slower?
I don't know. We'll see. I definitely enjoy him and Drew when they work together. I think it's great.
Yes, I do agree with you there.
Well, apparently Carlito cut a really good promo tonight because it's going viral on Twitter right now. And he dropped the F-bomb in Spanish. They just showed the thing. So,
well, I mean, he is the biggest free agent signing of the year or something like that, right?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Absolutely agree. Yeah. Yep. No, I'm not biased at all. Anyway, but yeah. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I don't really want to give predictions because I feel like there's only a couple matches. I'm a little shocked LA Knight's not wrestling.
That is a little surprising.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought we would get a Kevin Owens versus Grayson Waller or Austin Theory. We didn't get that either. We're also looking for sponsorships, and Little Debbie does a really great job with these Christmas cakes. They are amazing. I'm just going to tell you. So, Little Debbie, if you'd like to sponsor us.
Same with my Icelandic spring water here, the Skyra.
Yeah.
Or Diet Pepsi, wherever you went.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking we should do like fake ad reads.
Yeah.
Like, Must Love Wrestling, brought to you by Joe's Sperm Bag. You whack 'em, we pack 'em.
Oh, like Conrad Thompson does those funny, like,
yeah.
Those are hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, guys, that's pretty much our show here.
You don't want to do the intermission, the trivia, and all that fun stuff?
No, we jumped right into Survivor Series, so we
don't have a trivia question, do you?
What, me?
Yeah. You don't have a trivia question, do you?
No, I do not.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to give you a match of the week anyway, because...
Oh, go for it.
I've been thinking about it all since we were going to do the show the other day. It is Team Austin versus Team Bischoff from Survivor Series 2003. You've got Shawn Michaels, Rob Van Dam, Booker T, and the Dudleys against Scott Steiner, Mark Henry, Chris Jericho, Christian, and Randy Orton. One of the best babyface performances of Shawn Michaels' career.
Did you pick that because the lone survivor is Randy Orton?
That was part of it. It's also I was watching the list and they called it the best Survivor Series performance ever. Shawn. I didn't even think it was his best performance in Survivor Series. I'm partial to 97, but
why are you partial to 97? Because of the screw job?
You didn't get it. It was supposed to be a joke.
Oh. No, I understood. That's why I was just curious. But yeah, I guess I could do this day in wrestling history since I do have that stuff like jotted up on my phone here because I was ready to go. I just didn't realize we were running so late. I think that one topic took us over. When we were talking about The Miz. Who would have thought The Miz would take over our show?
Right. And I'd like to reiterate that I absolutely love The Miz.
And I'm actually not a fan of The Miz, which is crazy.
I just don't think he's a top 2 or 3 talker in the business.
All right. 40 years ago tonight, Starrcade, a Flair for the gold was in Greensboro Coliseum in North Carolina. Ric Flair defeated Harley Race in a steel cage match to win the NWA World Title for the second time. Happy 43rd birthday to Beth Phoenix. Also, on this day in wrestling history, 35 years ago, WWF held their second annual Survivor Series, and the Mega Powers, Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, Hercules, Coco Beware, and Hillbilly Jim defeated the Twin Towers, Big Boss Man and Akeem, King Haku, Ted DiBiase, and the Red Rooster, Andre the Giant. In another match, Dino Bravo, Mr. Perfect, Rick Rude, and Harley Race defeated Jake the Snake Roberts, Jim Duggan, Tito Santana, Scott Casey, and Ken Patera in a chaotic 20-man tag match. The Powers of Pain, the British Bulldogs, the Rockers, the Hart Foundation, the Young Stallions defeated Demolition, the Conquistadores, the Brainbusters, the Bolsheviks, and the Fabulous Raegers, and the Ultimate Warrior, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, the Blue Blazer, Sam Houston, and Jim Brunzell defeated the Honky Tonk Man, Ron Bass, Greg Valentine, Danny Davis, and Bad News Brown.
My who was for Scott Casey. I've never heard of that person.
Oh. 30 years ago, WWF presented Survivor Series from the Boston Garden, where the All-Americans Lex Luger, The Undertaker, Rick and Scott Steiner defeated the Foreign Fanatics, Yokozuna, Crush, Ludwig Borga, and Jacques Rougeau. The Hart Foundation, which is one of the coolest matches ever, Brett, Owen, Bruce, Keith defeated Shawn and his Knights. Shawn Michaels and his Knights. It was originally supposed to be Jerry Lawler and his Knights, but the King was out of action for legal issues. So Jeff Gaylord and the Black Knight, Greg Valentine and the Blue Knight, and Barry Horowitz was the Red Knight.
One of them was supposed to be Terry Funk.
Oh, that's not in here.
And his horse apparently was sick. And he left a note. He left the pay-per-view and left a note. My horse is sick. I think he might die. I guess I better go.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's why we didn't see Terry Funk in WWF for like 5 more years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No word on how the horse made out.
Yeah. And then 27 years ago, tonight, WCW presented its very first World War III live from Norfolk Scope, Virginia. Where in the main event, the Giant won a 60-man battle royal, eliminating Lex Luger in a future WCW to win a future WCW World Title match, which he would go on to win because he was the youngest champion in WCW history, and he was also the greenest champion in WCW history.
So that wasn't the first one.
That's what it says here.
The first one was the year before. Randy Savage won it to win the vacant title.
Well, that's not what Today in Wrestling History says.
The next year, the Giant did win it. He was a member of the NWO, and he would go on to face Hulk Hogan at Sold Out, where they kicked him out of the NWO. So he did not win the title that time. He won it the year before, and that's why it was vacant, because he won it by like disqualification or something.
Wow. Well, this Today in Wrestling History needs to step up their game.
Sorry, my mid-90s WCW knowledge is disturbing.
Well, that's cool. That's good. That's what we're trying to do, is provide the facts to our fans. So,
because I almost used that first one as a match of the week before I stumbled on that other one again.
Nice.
Because I know we all love the Macho Man, and
yes, we do.
And winning the title is, you know.
Well, yep. Nick Aldis has announced that Carlito is not medically cleared to compete against Santos Escobar. Dragon Lee offers to compete in his place, and Aldis makes it official. I just want to say that Nick Aldis looks like a bigger star than most people that he's actually working with. Like, he looks like a massive superstar. And for some reason, he's just not
I mean, he is a bigger star than most people he's working with.
Yeah, it's insanity to me. But
I don't understand why they don't see the value in that guy.
well, maybe they will someday. Well, anyway, guys, that was our show. Thank you so much for watching us and watching me and Tyler go at it. That was probably the most heated we've ever been on the show. And it was
I don't
all
know
over you, Miz.
I don't know if it's the most, but it's the most lately.
Yeah, absolutely. So D's definitely gonna love this show because D loves it when we go at it.
Where was he?
I don't know. Those guys are all MIA right now. I couldn't get a hold of anybody. Not a single person. I don't know. I haven't seen. D is just too angry right now with Pedro Pascal being cast as the new Mr. Fantastic. He's just.
I don't know what any of those things you just said are.
Yeah, well, Mr. Fantastic's from Fantastic Four. It's a comic.
Okay. If it's not Twilight.
Nope, it's not. But
by the way, it was released. The original was released 15 years ago yesterday.
Wow.
It was in my Facebook memories. I was very excited to go see it.
Holy shit. Yeah, I was forced to go watch it by my wife, and then she made me also she made me read the books with her. I remember she read one and then I had to read one. And yeah, it was just kind of one of those where I was like forced, but then I wound up becoming a fan of Robert Pattinson, and then now I rock his Batman shirt because he's the man.
I saw it Friday night opening night, and then I left watching football on Sunday afternoon to go see it again before going to Survivor Series at Hooters.
Wow.
That was a Survivor Series where Edge came back and won the title.
Oh.
It was a good day.
Yeah, it was a good day. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, guys, and we will definitely be back on track next Wednesday.
Next week we will have a show the following week. Unless we can get Patty Reekin to sub for me, I'm going to be on a boat.
That's right. So next week we'll try to
incommunicado.
Yeah, but we will give our Survivor Series reactions, and we will talk more about the fans that are angry that CM Punk didn't debut tomorrow night. He didn't re-debut, so.
He didn't?
No, I don't think that's going to happen, but I think fans are
just
really fired.
I'm going to be really mad. I'm going to be one of those fans. I'm going to stamp my feet and threaten to cancel Peacock. And
yeah, that makes sense. I mean, this is what happened back in the day with Daniel Bryan.
You one of those? You want to have me up?
Yep. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. We're out.
Later.